Ojok! Daddy screamed. Ojok froze. Daddy? I can explain. We were just laying bed. Daddy blinked. Laying what? Laying bed makes people sweat like you're chasing a goat? Ojok started stammering like a faulty radio. Daddy, I was just doing that. That sweet game you always play with Mummy at night. Pin drop silence. Even Sarah's heartbeat paused. Daddy staggered backward like a drunk chicken. Game? Which game? Ojok looked down. Welcome to the second part of Ojok's story. Stay tuned as we dive into family shame. Please subscribe to this channel for more life-changing episodes. 1 week later, Ojok had become quiet. Too quiet. He no longer jumped around with his neighborhood friends, no longer shouted, "Mummy-in-law," at the neighbor's gate. Instead, he kept to himself, sitting under mango trees, drawing shapes in the dust with a stick, staring at the sky as if waiting for it to drop answers. His father, Daddy Ojok, thought the boy had learned his lesson after the Sarah incident. His mother believed the silence was a sign of obedience. But in truth, Ojok was not reformed. He was only retreating, storing ideas, waiting for another stage. It was holiday time. Daddy Ojok and Mummy Ojok were busy running their small business. Every morning, before the sun lifted its sleepy head, the couple left the house, returning late in the evening, tired like hunters who had been chasing stubborn goats. Because they didn't trust leaving Ojok home alone, they always sent him to his aunt's place in the nearest village. That aunt was called Peta. Peta was Daddy Ojok's elder sister, a woman of wealth and class in Obalanga. Her husband lived in Canada, sending money often, so Peta lacked nothing. She lived in a big cemented house with glass windows, iron sheets that shone like polished knives, and tiled floors that villagers admired whenever they visited. Peta had 2 beautiful daughters, Gemma, 15, and Donanta, 14. Both girls were tall, brown-skinned, with braided hair that shone under the sun. Their mother adored them, dressing them in the finest clothes from Kampala markets. Every holiday, when Ojok arrived at Peta's home, the girls welcomed him warmly. "Auntie, good afternoon." Ojok always greeted politely, bowing slightly. "My son, you are most welcome," Peta replied, hugging him. "Feel free, this is your home." But though she loved her nephew, Peta was always too busy. She spent her days on her phone, either doing online work, chatting with her husband abroad, or scrolling endlessly. Whenever Ojok came, she would smile at the 3 children and say, "Go play in the backyard. I'll call you when food is ready." So every day, Gemma, Donanta, and Ojok found themselves in the spacious backyard, alone, unsupervised. On the first day, as they played hide and seek, Ojok suddenly stopped, standing tall like a little coach about to introduce a new sport. "Wait," he said proudly, hands on his waist. "I have a better game. Not hide and seek, not rope skipping, a new one. You'll like it?" The sisters stared, curious. "What game?" Gemma asked. "It's called the Mummy and Daddy game," Ojok declared, chest puffed like a rooster at dawn. Both girls burst out laughing. "Mummy and Daddy, that sounds boring," Donanta teased. Ojok grinned, shaking his head. "No, not boring. It's sweet like honey. Let me show you." The girls exchanged glances. "Okay, then show us." Ojok cleared his throat and began to explain with the authority of a teacher. First, one person becomes Daddy. The other becomes Mummy. Daddy must say, "Baby, come here." Then Mummy must laugh and say, "Not now, the children are watching." Then Daddy insists, "Don't worry, they're sleeping." He acted it out, his voice mimicking his father, his giggle echoing his mother's. The sisters were in stitches of laughter. "Ha ha! Ojok, you're funny!" But he continued seriously, his eyes wide. Then Daddy carries Mummy like this. He bent, lifted a stone, and dropped it with a thud. Then they lie down, and they bounce, like goats fighting. The girls laughed harder, but curiosity sparkled in their eyes. "Really? That's what your parents do?" Gemma asked. Ojok nodded proudly. "Every night. I saw it with my own eyes. Daddy said it's sweet like honey. Do you want to try?" The sisters hesitated. But laughter is a dangerous medicine. It erases caution. Finally, Jima shrugged. Okay, show me first. That afternoon, hidden behind Peta's tall fence, Ojok demonstrated the game with Gemma. He lay on the grass, repeating lines he'd heard. Baby one, come here. Jima, shy at first, giggled and said, You're crazy. But Ojok encouraged her. No, say it properly. Say don't stop, it's sweet. The girl copied, laughing between words. Donanta clapped her hands, cheering. My turn next. What began as a joke soon turned into a daily routine. Every afternoon, while Aunt Peta scrolled on her phone inside, the children turned the backyard into their secret theater. Days rolled into weeks. At first, the game was only words and laughter. But Ojok, curious and bold, began pushing boundaries. He showed them more things, repeating actions he had secretly observed from his parents' bed at night. Daddy does this, then Mummy says that, then Daddy brings out something like a snake. The sisters, too naive to understand consequences, followed his lead, laughing, trusting, playing. By the end of the week, what had begun as childish imitation grew into something darker. But Peta noticed nothing. She never checked the backyard. She never asked questions. One day, as they sat at lunch, Gemma said innocently, Mummy, Ojok has a very nice game. We play it every day. It's called the Mummy and Daddy game. Donanta nodded happily. Yes, Mummy, it's so fun. Every afternoon we play it. But Peta, eyes glued to her phone, only murmured, Okay, that's nice. Keep it up. Her careless words were a sentence of doom. Weeks passed. Something strange began happening. Jima and Donanta grew quieter. They overslept in the mornings, dragging their feet to breakfast. Their faces looked pale, their eyes tired. They no longer rushed to school with excitement, but leaned on their desks, dozing during lessons. Teachers noticed. Gemma, why are you always sleeping? One teacher asked sternly. I'm just tired, she whispered. It happened again and again until the school grew concerned. Finally, the administration arranged for a general health test for all students. That's when the truth thundered down like a storm. The doctor's report came back. Gemma and Donanta, both pregnant. 4 months along. The head teacher sat in his office, head buried in his hands. What shame is this? 2 sisters both pregnant in my school. 4 months pregnant, my God. He called Peta immediately. When she arrived, stylishly dressed with her phone in hand, she expected a minor issue. Instead, she was handed the medical report. Madam Peta, the head teacher said gravely, your daughters are both expecting children. The words hit her like a spear. What? Pregnant? My daughters? That's impossible. They are children. The head teacher slid the papers closer. See for yourself. Both 4 months. We have confirmed. Madam, we cannot keep them in this school. They are hereby expelled. Peta's phone slipped from her hand and crashed to the floor. Tears clouded her eyes. She staggered, holding her chest, unable to breathe. No, my daughters, my beautiful girls. How? The head teacher looked at her with pity. Madam, take them home, but find out the truth. Who is responsible? Back home, Peta locked the door, trembling with rage. She faced her daughters, who sat on the sofa with swollen eyes, scared like lambs waiting for slaughter. Who did this to you? She screamed, slamming her hand on the table. Silence. Her chest rose and fell heavily. Tell me the truth now, or I'll skin both of you alive. Donanta shook, tears pouring. Mummy, was Ojok. Peta staggered back, gasping. Ojok, my brother's son, Jima added quietly. Yes. Ojok taught us the Mummy and Daddy game. We told you. You even said it was a nice game and we should keep playing it. The room fell silent. Those words pierced Peta's heart like knives. She remembered clearly, her daughters laughing at lunch, telling her about the game, and she, careless, replying, That's nice, keep it up. She collapsed into a chair, holding her head. Oh my God, what have I done? My daughters, ruined. Because of my negligence. That evening, as Peta wept silently, her phone rang. It was her husband calling from Canada. Hello, my love. His cheerful voice filled the line. How are you? And how are my beautiful daughters? Peeta wiped her tears quickly, forcing a fake smile. They are fine, just busy with school. Good, good, the husband said. Actually, I have a surprise. I'm coming back in 2 weeks to see all of you. Her stomach twisted. Panic surged. She forced a laugh. Maybe you should extend just 2 more months. The girls are very busy with candidate classes. Their exams are near. We shouldn't disturb them. Her husband frowned. Candidate classes? But I miss them. I want to see them. Why are you not excited? What's going on? Peeta stammered, her voice weak. It's just cold season here. I'm not feeling well, but I'm fine. The call ended with suspicion hanging heavy in the air. The next morning, unable to hold her fury, Peeta stormed into her brother's compound. She found Daddy Ojok calmly sipping tea under the veranda. Ah, sister, he greeted joyfully. What a surprise! You remembered my home today. Come sit. Let's talk. But Peeta's eyes were blazing. She didn't sit. She slammed her bag on the ground and shouted, You sent your son to destroy my family! Daddy Ojok laughed nervously. Ah, sister, don't joke like that. Destroy? Ojok is just a small boy. But Peeta stepped closer, her voice shaking with pain. Small boy. Your small boy has turned my 2 daughters into mothers. They are both pregnant. 4 months. The teacup fell from Daddy Ojok's hand, shattering. What? My son? Impossible! They told me everything. Peeta screamed, tears flowing. Ojok taught them your bedroom games. They said he even told them he learned it from you, his own father. What kind of household are you running? Daddy Ojok's face hardened. God forbid! How can you accuse me like that? My son? Pregnant your daughters? Sister, you must be mistaken. But Peeta pushed him with her finger, her body trembling. Mistaken? I saw the medical reports with my own eyes. You and your wife poisoned that boy with your careless ways. Now look, my daughters, their future. Gone! Daddy Ojok rose, furious, fists clenched, his chest heaving. Where is Ojok? Let me see him now. But when they searched the house, Ojok was nowhere. The boy had already slipped quietly into the forest. That night, the whole village whispered. Some said they saw Ojok running toward the hills, barefoot, his small figure swallowed by darkness. Others claimed he hid in the banana plantations. Children whispered that he had turned into a bird and flown away to escape the anger of adults. But the truth was simple. Ojok was gone, and no one knew where. Daddy Ojok spent the night turning in bed, sweat drenching his pillow. His wife, Mummy Ojok, sat upright, hugging her knees. What has our son done? She whispered, voice breaking. And what shame is this? Daddy Ojok pressed his palms together, staring at the floor. I told him many times, but he never listened. And now, look, he has destroyed Peeta's family. If her husband finds out, we are finished. They didn't sleep until morning. The following day, as the sun rose like a glowing wound, Daddy Ojok walked slowly to Peeta's house. His steps were heavy, his head bowed. When he arrived, Peeta was standing on the veranda, arms crossed, eyes swollen from crying. He stopped a few meters away. Sister, I have come to beg. Forgive me, forgive my son. Let us find a way. Maybe take them to the hospital, maybe terminate. We can solve this quietly before your husband comes back. Peeta's face hardened like stone. Terminate? You think children are goats to be slaughtered? They are 4 months already. And the school knows. The chief knows. Even the teachers know. Do you think this kind of shame can be hidden? Daddy Ojok fell to his knees, clasping his hands. Please, sister, I beg you, don't let this ruin us. I will do anything, anything. Just protect our family name. But Peeta turned away, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Go home, brother. Your son has destroyed my daughters. Nothing can erase that. She entered the house and banged the door shut, leaving Daddy Ojok kneeling in the dust. 2 weeks later, The sound of a car horn pierced through Obalanga village. A sleek black vehicle stopped at Peta's compound. It was her husband, tall, dark-skinned. With a trimmed beard and glasses, he stepped out of the car with a broad smile, carrying gifts and suitcases. The neighbors rushed to greet him, clapping and cheering. "Welcome back, our son from Canada," they sang. Peta came out, forcing a smile, but inside her heart was thundering. She welcomed him with a hug, but her body was stiff. That evening, as they sat in the living room, he asked excitedly, "Where are my daughters? I want to see them. I bought them laptops, clothes, shoes. Eh? They must be big girls now." Peta swallowed hard. "They are. In school. Very busy. Candidate class. You know exams are near, so they will come at the end of the year." The husband frowned. "End of the year? But I miss them. Let me just pass by the school tomorrow and see them for 5 minutes." Peta forced a laugh. No. Let them concentrate. Even teachers don't like visitors during exam season." Her husband studied her face. Something was off. Her voice was shaky. Her eyes avoided his. Still, he nodded slowly. "Okay. I will wait." But inside, suspicion grew like fire. 2 weeks later, as his departure back to Canada neared, the man's longing to see his daughters became unbearable. Without telling Peta, he called the school head teacher directly. "Hello, sir," he said cheerfully. "I'm Peta's husband. I'd like permission to visit my daughters Gemma and Donanta before I travel back, just for a short time." The head teacher went silent. Then, with a heavy sigh, he replied, "Sir, I am very sorry. Your daughters are no longer in school." The husband froze. "What do you mean no longer in school?" The head teacher cleared his throat nervously. "They were expelled. 4 months ago, they were found pregnant, both of them. We informed their mother. We gave her the medical report." "I thought she had told you." Silence. Then a roar shook the phone line. "What? Pregnant? Both of them?" The head teacher sighed again. "Yes, sir. We are deeply sorry." The man ended the call abruptly, his hands trembling, rage boiling inside him. The smell of boiling beans filled the kitchen. Peta stood over the saucepan, absent-mindedly stirring, her heart already restless from the lies she had been carrying. Suddenly the air behind her shifted. She turned and froze. Her husband stood in the doorway like a shadow carved from fire. His eyes burned, his fists clenched, his chest rising and falling with rage. "Peta!" he thundered, his voice shaking the walls. The wooden spoon fell from her trembling hand. Yes, my husband." He stepped forward, his voice sharp as a whip. "Where are my children?" She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. "I need my children now!" he roared, slamming his hand against the doorframe. "The head teacher told me everything. Pregnant, both of them. And you dared to lie to me? You hid this from me?" Peta's knees gave way. She fell to the floor, hands clasped together, tears spilling. "Please, forgive me. I was afraid to tell you. I thought I could fix it before you came back." But her husband's fury only grew. He pulled her up by the arm and dragged her toward the living room like a rag doll. "Get out of my house tomorrow," he shouted. "I don't want a liar under my roof. Where are my daughters? Speak now." Peta's lips quivered, but no words came. The rage in his eyes silenced her. With a cry, she tore herself from his grip and bolted out of the compound, tears streaming, shame burning her chest. Barefoot, hair untidy, she ran straight to her brother's home. Daddy Ojok was sitting under the veranda when she arrived, panting, her wrapper half loose, eyes red. She pointed at him, trembling. You sent your son to destroy me. My husband has found out. He wants me out of the house. My daughters, 6 months pregnant, because of your Ojok." Daddy Ojok shaking his head in disbelief. "Hey, sister, please calm down." "Don't tell me to calm down," she wailed. "My home is burning. My husband is tearing me apart, and you sit here?" Their cries drew neighbors. The commotion grew until someone suggested, Let's take this matter to the chief. Let him decide. The next morning they stood before the chief of Obalanga. Peta, eyes swollen, wept as she explained. Daddy Ojok stood beside her, head bowed. "Chief," Peta cried, "help us! My husband is furious. My daughters are ruined. This boy Ojok has killed our families." The chief's eyes were cold. He banged his staff on the ground. "Both of you failed. Children don't become pregnant by accident. Where were you when they were playing these so-called games? Where were your eyes?" Peta sobbed louder, clutching her chest. "Chief, I beg you, have mercy. Cover us, let go, and you convince my husband help me. I will give you any amount of money you want. Tell us what to do." "No, that not my work." "Where are the children now?" the chief asked sternly. Silence. Peta lowered her head, unable to answer. The chief's patience snapped. "Take me to your compound. Let me see with my own eyes." When they returned to Peta's compound, they found a police truck already parked outside, lights flickering, sirens off but threatening. 4 officers stood with a Canadian husband, whose face was carved with grief and fury. Neighbors crowded, whispering, pressing closer to witness the scandal. The officers sat Daddy Ojok and Peta down on wooden stools. One officer barked, "Where are the children? We need them now." Peta's hand shook. She couldn't speak. At last, with her voice breaking, she whispered, "They are?" In the backyard room, the crowd surged as the officers marched to the locked door. They broke it open. Inside, on thin mats, sat Jima and Donanta, 6 months pregnant, their bellies heavy, their eyes swollen from endless tears. The sight silenced everyone. Even the policemen paused, swallowing hard. Mothers in the crowd began to cry openly. Fathers shook their heads, muttering, "God have mercy." The girls looked up, trembling, and whispered, "Daddy!" Their father rushed forward, falling to his knees, hugging them tightly, sobbing into their shoulders. "My children, my babies. What did they do to you? What did we do to deserve this pain?" The whole compound was drowned in tears, but duty called. The officers pulled Daddy Ojok and Peta up roughly. "You are both under arrest for negligence, for hiding the truth, for destroying the future of these children." The crowd parted as they were dragged into the police truck, heads bowed, hands behind their backs. The siren wailed as the truck drove away, leaving behind weeping daughters, a broken husband, and a village that would never forget the tragedy. The Bible warns clearly about the consequences of exposing children to sin and failing in parental responsibility. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." Instead of being guided in purity, Ojok copied what he saw, leading others astray. Jesus himself said in Matthew 18:6, "If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea." The negligence of Peta and Daddy Ojok brought shame, sorrow, and brokenness, showing the truth of Galatians. Come 27. Do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Parents must guard children's innocence, live responsibly, and teach God's way, because children become what they see. What advice would you give to the parents? Who was the major cause of the problem in this story? Leave your comment on the comment section. Subscribe to this channel, like, share, so that you can be notified for the next life-changing episode. Thanks for watching. God bless you.